orders are. This is to be a good one. Let's go.
Imagine a moment where you're sitting there, you and your wife are in the kitchen. Honey, food's ready. Okay, babe. And you're sitting there, go, so how was your date today? And then you hear this guy.
Yeah, I get it.
And then you watch and like,
I get it. I've never heard anybody make a different case. I've never heard anybody say to me why it's okay that you would have a male be competing against females. I totally get it.
If they continue this way, though, Chris, if they continue this way, the argument when you're presenting and the method of you trying to gain the voters, when you do things like that, you lose in a major way, which, by the way, this is the commercial Charlie was talking about. Rob, if you want to play the clip.
Yeah, just to be clear, they went all in on this ad.
$75 million.
And I have a thought afterwards.
Go ahead, Rob.
Support taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
Kamala supports transgender sex changes in jail with our money.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Now, can I say something, though? There has been this...
And that's actually true, though, because in California, I mean, yeah, you know, transgender illegal immigrants will come over saying, oh, I'm in danger, and they're trying to hunt me down in my country, even though that's not true, but you know how it is. You know, we always have sympathy for the trans, and then we let them in, then we let them have a gender-affirming surgery under taxpayer dollars in California. So, you know, shout out Cali.
Insist by some that the culture war should be away from politics and the culture war loses elections. This advertisement, as studied now by 3 different firms as the most effective ad, is against that theory, which is that the culture war actually gave Donald Trump the edge. Now, Chris, I'll also say that ad probably was also why some young black men stayed at home.
Maybe.
Right? Because the Trump campaign deserves credit for at least saying, communicating to the audience, look, Kamala's not worthy of your vote. And it really dampened down enthusiasm. How many young black men in Detroit were excited to go vote for Kamala if they feel as if she wants to go put men in female sports? You see what I'm saying? It's just,
I totally get it. And that is a rule of politics. I believe culture wars have always been part of politics. And so the idea that it's separate and apart, I don't agree that it ever.
I always do say, personally, me, I'll be outraged if I was to help my daughter work in a sport, she becomes the best. I put all this money, you know, trainers, all this crazy stuff, like camps, and you telling me some dude comes out of nowhere and beats her because of what? Because he's too much of a coward to be a man or a guy. And now my daughter loses out on a medal that she should have like won. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go the fuck off. I'm fighting. I'm throwing hands and I'm taking medals.
Was, but it certainly isn't now.
But can it be effective? I think it can be.
100%.
Respectfully,
I mean, look, he doesn't win without it. I mean, in this race, the economics mattered as well. In 2016, he was a purely cultural proposition, and it worked. So there, empirically, we're on the same side with this. Look, here's my concern with here's why I don't like this. Okay, I'll put it that way. I totally agree with the premise. Okay. And I think that the manifestations of it that they were putting out there are even more effective than the sports one. That everybody gets access to a sex change in prison, that even illegal migrants get access. That bothers your sense of rightness. Okay.
Of justice.
No, of justice, of fairness under law. To me, those are more powerful than the guys my size playing high school, or that guy was like twice my size, that was in the commercial, playing with girls. Why? Because that doesn't happen that much. The other two will.
Chris, it happens more than you think, but even if it only happens a little, it's an affront to our sense of justice
I get
as well.
It.
Right? I mean, because...
Yeah, I get it.
And it is a tactic used by some, not you. Oh, it's not happening that much. But hold on. When an injustice occurs at the highest, for example... the NCAA swimming championship. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't take many.
It doesn't take, or at the Olympics, or right now, the story that was cooking before the election, the San Jose State volleyball team,
right.
All these teams are forfeiting. I mean, that is at the highest levels of the NCAA. And so, yeah, I mean, look, we don't know to the exact rapidity that it is happening, but even if it happens once at an NCAA championship level.
I get it. Now, where I had more of a problem with this is the immigrant crime issue, because to me, like on this one I get because it's a value play. On the immigrant crime thing, I was like, hey, you don't have to make boogeymen out of them. There are people already very wary of them. Our crime problem in this country is not immigrant motivated, illegal immigrant motivated. I don't think you have to exaggerate things. The truth is often enough. The southern border is a nightmare. The Democrats allowed it to stay that way and actually exacerbated the problem. That's enough.
Yeah.
My complaint with Trump was you don't have to demonize the people who are coming over here. The truth is enough for you.
But would you acknowledge that them coming over, they committed a crime?
Oh, yeah.
Well, so then they're criminals.
By definition, I know, but
they're definitionally criminals.
I know, but that's juicing the statistic. He's talking about raping, murdering, those crimes.
We can get to that, but there is something to be said that if I just show up in your living room uninvited.
It's absolutely wrong. Unless somebody is chasing you across the border with a gun, your life is in jeopardy. Otherwise, it's a crime.
You know that's not happening, right?
It's a crime. It's almost always economic, and it is always a crime to enter illegally. No question about it. What you do about it is what we should be talking about. Not here, but I mean, we should be talking about what do you do, how are you going to do it, and getting it done.
Fair or unfair in politics, certain stories and narratives will end up defining a race. With George H.W. Bush in 1988, it was the Willie Horton ad against Dukakis. Donald Trump, to a lesser extent, had stories like Laken Riley, who was brutally murdered in Athens, Georgia, or Rachel Morin, who was hunted down in a hiking trail by an illegal alien, a mother of, I think, of four kids.
Yeah.
And so, those stories aren't misrepresentations. They're real things that happened. And again, what is the vibe? Because Kamala's talking about vibes a lot that Trump played into, is that you guys are not doing well, and for whatever reason, we're allowing all these people in.
You're not doing well on the border, and it's costing American lives. Yeah, I mean, you're not doing well on the economy, and inflation is costing American sanity. It's costing Americans their sanity. So yeah, there's a huge problem with the administration and how it's been ran for the last 3.5 years. And for some reason, I guess a lot of the Kamala supporters couldn't really see that, or they believe the charts. You feel me? They believe the charts that, told them, that lied in their face and be like, yo, we're in the best economy ever. We're doing oh so fantastic, even though everything is more expensive than when Trump was in office, of course. But we're doing better, right?
Regulated fashion.
Right.
And again, what does it get back to? This was Trump's brilliance.
Even Bitcoin went down when Biden got in office.
That ad, the immigration question, it's an affront to our instinctive, God-built, programmed attunement of justice, right or wrong. People say that's not right.
When you can find an issue where it's hard for people to disagree with the position, you're in a very good space. And immigration, it's been on poll preferences before, but it's never been like a main thing the way it has the last couple of cycles. And I think that has been a huge differentiator that has been beneficial to the right / Trump, which is really that far left explanation of open borders. It's very hard to find a Democrat who's in power, who's in favor of an open border. But the perception that, well,
all right, be right back, chat.
Set of rules. You came in and you got rid of all of them because they were his, and you did nothing to replace it, to deal with the problem, and it all got worse on your watch. It's really hard with anybody to disagree with that. It's demonstrably true. And then the issue, because it's politics and it was made into a powerful narrative, became really important to everybody. And everybody, Governor,
what state?
Texas Governor Abbott.
Yeah.
You got to put him on your list. And I should have thought of him. Him sending illegal migrants to other states was a genius political move. You can talk about the humanity of it, but because now it made these other populations. Look at New York City. We never talked about that before.
For the record, it wasn't just because of Abbott. Joe Biden and the DHS also, they do flights out from the ports of entry, right? So it wasn't just red state governors.
Right, but he did it with an intentionality.
Yeah, there was some political,
and DeSantis
there
too.
was some
was
political
smart.
theatrics to it. However, the policy of the Department of Homeland Security is that you go to a port of entry and we will give you a flight to 30 cities of your choosing. And so it did nationalize the immigration question.
And I agree with both. And look, catch and release is another one of those things that it is hard to be in favor of as a principle. So what, you're going to catch somebody doing something wrong and you're going to let them go and hope they come back. and probably get kicked out of the country.
So can I ask you a question, Chris? Why do you think the Democrats had such a passive border for the last 4 years? If it's so insane, why do you think that is?
Several reasons, okay? One, because solving that problem is not as useful to them until now as weaponizing the problem. And I believe that about both sides, that it allowed Democrats to say, boy, do you people hate people. You are anti-American. You don't even love immigrants anymore. You toxic whiteys. And it allowed the right to say, you people are crazy. You do not use your brain. There is nothing good about what's pouring over the border. And I really believe that's a big motivator and why neither side, Obama had both houses.
They try to gaslight us. Like, oh, we're a country of immigrants, or what you mean they work the jobs that we don't want to work. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, cool. We're a country of immigrants, but yeah, how far back was that? Like, come on now, let's chill out here. Let's not act like most American citizens weren't born on U.S. soil. Let's stop tripping here, okay? Good, let's bring back the common sense. And then even when y'all want to bring up the point of like, oh, wait, what was it? What was the last point I made? Forgot it.
Did healthcare, didn't do this. Nobody has, when they've had the chance, has tried to do this except late in the game this last cycle, which everybody saw through. Second reason, they do have a left flank issue. They do have a left flank issue that is hyper sympathetic to the suffrage of those people, and believe that you should just be welcoming all in. That's what this country is. That's what it is. It's best. The main reason, though, was in politics, what they call paralysis by analysis. So the numbers start going bad. They know in Biden administration, it's because they relaxed those home country agreements and the other executive orders. Now the problem is theirs. So
the other argument was, they fill all the jobs that we don't want to work. I'm like, that's why one of the reasons why our like new generation of children, right, of workers are so damn lazy, because all the jobs that they were supposed to be working, went to the immigrants. That's the problem. It's like, what about our youth? What about our veterans? What about the homeless? We can prop them up, help them out just as much as we helped out these immigrants with the asylum, and it's like, the checks and all that good stuff and the debit cards. Like, we could do the same thing with our people and get them out there working and producing for our society. Why we gotta do it for people who wasn't even born here? I mean, don't really make too much sense to me.
You do in politics 9 times out of 10 is ignore it and focus on something else instead of owning and fixing, because owning gets you owned.
I mean, but if you know that 10,000 people a day are coming into your country and you ignore it, how is that not treason?
It's not treason.
No, but just let's look at it analytically, non-politically. You allow 10,000 people to come in and you just ignore it. How are you not fulfilling your obligation to the country?
Well, you could argue that it is mis or even malfeasance. Treason, no. Treason is a defined crime where you're giving comfort to an enemy. You're assuming that all of these people are therefore enemies, which they aren't.
The cartels are enemies.
Well, but they're not all cartel people.
But enough are to...
Not to be treason. But it's definitely political malpractice. It was definitely wrong. And the cartels, I think, are a great emphasizer of that point. And fentanyl, which got very little attention.
But again, I don't want to dwell too much on the treason.
And make sure to like the video, guys. Go ahead and double tap that screen for me, or the 3 dots up there in the corner. Appreciate the support, guys.
I'm not grilling you. I'm just trying to understand, because you talk to Democrats a lot, and you know many.
And I'm okay being grilled, by the way.
No, I have my own speculation of which is nothing but that. How you can say that you're governing a country and you're spending all this money on Ukraine and all this stuff on abstractions, and you just are kind of, at best, indifferent to your own nation being overrun.
You know what I would say to that? Here's what I would add to that, Chris. Charlie earlier said, hey, what's the number one reason? What do you think? He says buying Twitter. I'm like, you know what? I agree. And my reason for saying yes is because if Twitter was still owned by Dorsey, ran by the old guy, I don't remember his name, the CEO, a lot of people wouldn't be back on. And the first domino of getting everybody, Trump back on social was Twitter, when he let Alex Jones back on, when he let Andrew Tate back on, when he let Trump back on, and Trump wouldn't tweet because he was still on Truth, and Facebook follows, Instagram follows, everybody else follows, right? If that doesn't happen, we don't hear the counter arguments to everything. And we can be gaslit into believing that nothing's really going on with the border. Then that opens it up where someone like me, I run a big...
Oh, and if you want to super chat any questions or comments, just $1 and up and we'll read it out loud. Appreciate the support, guys.
Insurance agency, and what my day looked like is every day people would bring me things and says, watch what he did. That's not compliant. And eventually the bigger the insurance company becomes, you're all becoming a compliance officer. Trust me, it's not fun, but you're constantly trying to see who's in the right and who's in the wrong. And all I do throughout the day is hear two arguments. Well, here's what they did, and they should have given us the insurance policy. Really? Yeah. What else? Anything else you want to tell me before I go ask him questions? These are the two facts you need to know. Perfect. Hey, what happened here? Da-da-da-da-da. He didn't tell me that. Yeah, what else? Da-da-da-da. Can you show me proof? Yeah, here's the email. Can you show me the picture? Got it. Hey, you didn't tell me about it. Well, yeah, but it's not fair. You like him more than I said, no. Now you're getting emotional. He has a better argument than you do. Take all the emotion aside. Leaving the border open, you're the border czar, and then later on you want to run it, you're not. Hey, kids competing, boys competing with... There's so much of this that the person that's not involved in politics, that I don't need to have 45 years in politics or 60 years to say, no, common sense, this doesn't make sense. No, common sense, this doesn't make sense.
You have to be right because of what we just saw in the returns.
Well, it's not about I have to be right. I think the American people who don't have time to follow politics, but they've lived a life long enough where they trust common sense, sit there and say, that's the party of common sense. You don't make any sense. I can't vote for you because you don't make any sense with the border, with the economy, with marriage, with the way you're okay with these guys competing. To me, that's the part. If the Democrats today don't make adjustments and they stay arrogant thinking an Obama can come and save them.
Bro, they stay arrogant with this whole, oh, it's racism. Oh, it's misogyny is why Kamala Harris didn't get elected. They just can't handle female leadership. I'm like, bro, no, trust me. Kamala couldn't handle being the leader of America. That's the problem. We knew it. We saw right through the facade, and y'all mad about it, and I get it. But y'all be okay. It's Trump 2024, man. Don't worry. All that stuff y'all was talking, trying to fear monger. All right, don't worry. I got a clock waiting on it. I mean, shoot, what are we, like 8 days out from the election?